It's showtime! Hello, welcome back to the James Rambling Reviews for yet another episode. And in today's episode, you might have been taken off guard there, but I'm going to be reviewing for you Beetlejuice. And if you didn't know, that is actually a reference to one of the most iconic quotes from the original Beetlejuice, where Michael Keaton says Beetlejuice as the Beetlejuice character. So there's that. So before I get into how I feel about this movie, I'll obviously give you a bit of context and an established understanding in case you haven't watched my video on the original Beetlejuice. And then I'll get into how I feel about this movie. This will not be a spoiler review, so don't come in here expecting me to give away every single little mini detail about the plot, because this movie hasn't been out for that long. It's been out since September, and there is still people actually going to see this movie. I did actually do a little bit of research before doing this review, and just as the movie has went on and been in cinemas, that it's actually making a lot of money. So a lot of people are still getting a chance to see it. So I don't want to ruin that experience for people and just spoil the living hell out of it or whatever. So there's that. So how do I actually feel about the original? In case you're somebody who's wondering how I felt about it, kind of thing. So the original is absolutely awesome. It is the definition of peak because it is just a classic movie. Michael Keaton is awesome in that movie, and the pacing is awesome. Obviously, as a simple story, but I mean, this is a late '80s movie, so stuff was different back then. The technology and stuff like that was different back then, so filmmaking was also different back then. So you've got to appreciate that it was a product of its time, and so there's definitely that. And so, what is Beetlejuice even about? So just to not spoil it here, the movie is pretty much like the best way I can describe it. It's a bigger, larger, crazier, wackier version of the original movie, and it's completely different. Like there's some element to where it's kind of like nostalgia and it's bringing back memories of the original, but then we have all these new characters into the mix, and so I'll just mention this so that you have people like Jenny Ortega in this movie. You still have Michael Keaton. You have Winona Ryder playing Lydia and all that kind of stuff. But then you have all these other characters in the mix, and I'm not going to spoil the movie because when you watch the movie, you'll realize just how much goes on in this film. So there's definitely that. So how do I feel about Beetlejuice? Well, I'm just going to say this right now that this is brilliant movie, brilliant movie, brilliant movie, right? Instead of saying Beetlejuice, it's brilliant movie, brilliant movie, brilliant movie, because this is actually a surprising banger of a film. Yes, there are a lot of issues with this movie. There is a few plot holes where you're just like, oh my goodness, this movie could have cut out quite a few storylines and quite a few things that were going on. But what really works about the film is that you actually get invested in what every character is actually character is what every character is going through, kind of thing, right? Like there are points where one character has this certain thing they're doing, and another character has a certain thing they're doing, and you get invested in it. But then because there's so much that's going on, for me there is a point. It reaches a point where it's like it becomes very very predictable. Where unlike the original movie, it's like, yeah, I didn't see that coming, by the way. In this movie, it's like, this is something ripped out of 20 other movies, and it's just like, yeah, of course that's going to happen. And so you're not really scared by the villains, but you're just like, yeah, it's happening, kind of thing. But there is still a lot of good moments, and they upped the production design in this movie where, unlike the original movie, a lot of the set design and everything looks pretty polished. It all looks nice to look at, and the visuals are certainly stimulating and very interesting on the eyes because of the way they, do the visuals, and they mix up how things look at certain points, and they show these different things that's going on in the movie. And so there's that. And if you're wondering, Michael Keaton kills it again, even in his 70s as Beetlejuice before GTA 6, right? We got this movie before GTA 6, and the movie's amazing for that. Like, Michael Keaton is amazing, right? He really is, and he's really funny. And the movie, I will say, also, it isn't the most like funny movie ever, because yes, there is a lot of moments where the movie is very, very funny. There's a few moments where, because you know what's happening and where it's going to lead, it's like maybe not so funny, right? So the visuals are good, right? The acting is actually decent, and Jenny Ortega surprised me, and the other actors surprised me as well. Pacing wise, it is decent, but it does actually take a while to set things up. So if you're not somebody that's if you're somebody that's like, I want a fast-paced introduction into a movie, it's like, no, you're not going to get that here, because it just sets the stage, and then later on, other things happen, things start to make sense. So out of 10, I would give this movie a solid, like, I would say 7, 8 out of 10. If you compare it to the original, it's more of a 7 out of 10. But the original is 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, maybe close to 10 out of 10 material, because it's such a classic, and you can't really beat the original in this case. But the movie, the more time has sat with me, it tries to match the original, but it is a completely different movie, and it goes for completely different things, and it's clearly got different ideas compared to the original. So yeah, that is my review of Beetlejuice. And so let me know how you felt about this movie, because I actually had to record this a couple of times, because I have so much to talk. There's so much I can say about this movie, but there is a part of me where, like I say, I don't want to spoil the entire film. So yeah, stay tuned for more reviews like this, because I might actually have another video idea, and I will be doing a community tab post about that at some stage this week, so you kind of understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, bye, just bye, just bye, just bye, Beetlejuice, bye, just Beetlejuice, bye, right? Bye, bye.